It's with great pleasure that I welcome Patrizia Moroso from the great Italian furniture brand Moroso. Patrizia has been working in Senegal, collaborating with craftsmen there, and we're going to hear about that tonight. Joining her is Gareth Williams, formerly of the Victorian Albert Museum, now of the Royal College of Art, a respected curator and critic in design. And they're going to talk about this collaboration. And after 45 minutes or so, we'd love to hear your questions too. So I will hand over to these two, and yeah, you can kick off.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I'm sorry that we're starting perhaps a little bit late. That's largely due to a demo by our trusted London cab drivers who congested the middle of the city. But it did mean that Patrizia and I could spend a very long cab journey from the Royal College to get here this afternoon to talk about the Mafrique project, which Moroso launched last year in Milan during the furniture fair, and which, as Justin explained, sees Moroso collaborating with a number of contemporary designers and craftspeople in Africa and Senegal to make some furniture. But I believe that your association with Senegal goes back a lot longer than last year. You've actually been visiting the country for 20 years or so. So perhaps you could tell us a bit of the background about why you wanted to do a project like this and what brought you to the start of working with these craftspeople.
Okay. First of all, my English, you have to understand me, is not fantastic and not so huge, so the words are restricted to a little vocabulary. And also today I'm a little bit tired, but I hope to are able to answer to everything. Okay. Anyway, of course, I have more than one personal reason to stay there and to work there and try to do something good for the people of Senegal. Senegal is the country of my husband, so we went there in 20 years so many times. And I have a big family there that is also helping us in this adventure. And okay, going there, I was in a position that is not the common touristic trip. No, I usually live in the family. I eat what they eat. I go where they go. I visit the market. I go to buy the everyday butter, everyday sugar, and that things. So I see how they live and how they work, and the quiet way in which they are working with possibly with joy and happiness. So they don't like to be stressed, so first thing. And they are working a lot, or the traditional work in Africa or in Senegal, that is what I know, but is more universal in a way, is to work in little spaces, few people or a number of people, not so many, so to have the freedom to work in a very human way, and to talk together while they are working, laugh a lot, because Senegalese people are so ironic and they have a lot of jokes to tell you. They are incredible, and they're also very sweet people, very relaxed, very quiet. And there are special works done by boys, men, and there are different jobs done by women. So all the things with beads, with straw, with raffia, for the big containers, pots of jewelry, that things are totally done by girls. And the more strong, where you need to be strong, like to bend the iron to make the frame structure for the chairs that we do, and the weaving also is things for boys, because you need to be very strong to do that things. And so it's a sort of, usually it's also another thing important, that usually these workshops, sort of workshops, are managed by a family. So it's a family job. So a group
like Moroso,
of
then, really.
Sorry?
A bit like Moroso.
A bit like Moroso, yes, yes, of course. We repeat the starting thing, yes. And so you will find cousins, brothers, many times working together. And also for that reason there is a special energy, a special feeling, a special joy.
So how long ago did you decide that you wanted to start making furniture then?
How long?
When did you decide you wanted
yes.
to?
It was a special moment because you know all these craft people are concentrate, especially in a part of the town that is the part where are the markets, also the touristic markets, but they call that city this in French, but it's not also my language, but it's the La Cité de l'Artisan, something like that. So the artisans are all there. And to do what? Usually to do a lot of little sculptures in wood, the pots done with the raffia by the girls, fabrics, they are printing fabrics, they are making with the little looms that are typical of Africa, they are making these stripes that they are connecting. And that kind of fabric is not for dress usually, but is for the normal upholstery things that they have at home, or for hanging on the walls, that kind of things. So they are in that area that is in the center of the town, close to the sea, and so I was, of course, passing many times there because I was very curious to see what they are doing with wood, especially, or with other things. And it was very funny because in these streets, a lot of the same profession as my family. So upholstery craftsmen were doing these incredibly big sofas with all the wood structure and a lot of foam, and how they use the fabrics also. And my husband sometimes were importing in Senegal the waste of our work. So we gave them for free because for us was all the rest, the remaining fabrics, and so we don't need to have in our stock. So we gave once a year, and he was selling for few money to these people to make sofas. So it was very funny to go there and see the fabric that I know on this incredibly big and crazy. No, not of that, but some of this, I think, something. Yes, I forget that we have images. So, here he is. He's not going. Yeah. So, for instance, one of the things that they are doing on the street is to weaving. Weaving, you know, this is a very basic day bed. You know, that thing that you close and you have during the day there, and then in the night could be a place for a bed, for a mattress, or they bring it in the beach to sit and have the sun. Yeah. So closing day bed.
Yes,
sorry.
Folding bed.
Folding bed, thank you. Yes. And because usually are not nice, because maybe usually is done with a plastic fabric or something like that, they prefer to weave them and to make them more beautiful. And so that is typical.
So it's woven directly onto the frame.
Or this, you see? This frame is a plastic Chinese chair that they don't like, so they cover totally with these yarns. And so I was attracted especially by this kind of work. That for one side is an incredible ability to do that weaving, because it's really strong and very hard to do. And for the other side is also an incredible material, because this material is normally used for the fishing nets. So is absolutely very strong, resisting to water, to salt, to sun, and is done to fish in the ocean.
So it also represents a kind of a modernity that we're not necessarily familiar with our images of our mental images of Africa. Don't include synthetic materials round plastic chairs. It's a kind of very contemporary production, which I think is fascinating.
Yes, because they try to put to make a better object with this kind of weaving, because material is not costing, and time is not costing like here. Is another concept. Time is another thing. It's not the same time that we have.
So this furniture, that's an example of something that's made for use there in Dakar.
Yes, in every house, or in a nice boutique, or to the coiffeur. The ladies, all the ladies are going every Saturday to the I don't know.
The hairdresser.
Yes, hairdresser. Yes, and it's a fantastic moment of conversation and meeting, and so usually the hairdressers has a beautiful places with a lot of furniture, tables, mirrors, chairs. So they try to make nice chairs. And another ability they have. This is a sort of strange antique market, no? So and you see there are some frames are very rough, but for me it was fantastic, like an artwork, like a sculpture.
What are we really looking at there? There are two chairs in the front.
Wire, huh?
I can't really see what we're looking at. There are two chair frames.
Yes, two chair frames, but done with many wires, iron wires. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that time, I was doing these pictures for me, to remember that. Then talking with my designers, we decided one day, and this is already the place where we are starting. We started, and because I had an idea to make an outdoor collection, I asked to some special designers like Tord to work on ideas different from the common outdoor objects that you find in Italian design or German design, or the very clean, perfect steel. Come si dice? Acciaio, aluminium, or yes, and exotic wood, and that perfect things. I said, look, Tord, to put things out in a garden, you have not to compete with the walls of the room that are square. You have to play with nature, with the sky, with the flowers that are around the garden. So our objects has to be in that kind of connections. And then I said, I have an idea to develop in Africa, come with me. And so this is part of the trip that we have done together.
So is this an existing workshop that you found?
Yes, in the beginning this was a little existing workshop. And this was the welding man, this one. And so you see the first prototypes. It was, you see with the meter was measuring the dimension and so on. Now, then, the same people became a group of people working now with us. They are around 20, 25, and there are 3 of them working on the metal frames, and the other are working on the weaving. So Tord came with me, and we went. Here is a second trip where already we sent the designs, the pictures, and they already prepare the prototypes to show to Tord.
But working directly from pictures, or?
We sent drawings, 2D drawings, okay. You see? But they understood very well immediately what to do, of course. The drawings and the objects are relatively simple. They are very complex in the way yeah, that they are in the end, because the weaving makes all the details of the object, the deformation and the strength of the. So these are images of the workshop. Okay, first they weld and then they paint. Here they were painting in this way. Now we send there a sort of closed oven.
Yes, we were trying to work out what to call this. I think it must be, I don't know, stove enameled onto the frame or baked in some ways.
Yes, because the varnish has to be baked, and so it's very strong. And the first weaving, you see that first of all they do the horizontals, and then with the vertical pattern, with the vertical dress, they do the pattern. Here is easy to.
Each chair, or
some one, some two. Usually two, because they're working together, and one is making this, and while one is making the first weaving, the other one is starting with the rest. Or for what I know, is also because maybe they need, one is turning, they are helping each other to move the object. So one can sit, and the other one helps to move the things. So this was the first fantastic group of people, and Tord is there with the first prototype that then we carry for the first, that was not Mafrik, but the year before. We presented in a sort of outdoor collection the first things of Tord. So it's a little bit 2 years.
You were explaining to me on the way over how there is quite a limited palette of colours of the different threads which you specify, but then the individual craftsmen interpret making each chair is slightly different, has its own kind of personal character. Can you expand on that?
Of course, because this is the quality of the diversity, that is not only the diversity of cultural background, but it's also the beautiful diversity of the single pieces that come out from them, because you cannot force an African to do the same thing every day, every minute, every hour. Impossible. So, of course, for us is a rich enriching the object.
You're adding a quality to the object.
Yes, the personal aesthetic of the person that was working. So these and these two different persons have another idea of the stripes, so maybe. And so they are making a different proportion of colors, for instance. We have 5 versions in colors of all the collection of Tord, but they will decide the percentage of white, black, red and green if the colors are that. So they are free to make their own combination.
And I can't remember if we've already said here this afternoon, but how long does it take to make a chair?
Two people, 3 days for one of these big chairs. So they're also running, because believe me, every single line has a knot in the end. And as you see, when they put the horizontal, there is nothing. I have the red line. They are flat, these are flat. But when here, and you can see, when you put the vertical, of course you do have a beautiful 3D, yes, because the curve in the center changed the shape, because it's forced to be in a curve. And that's why also Tord understood very well the potential of this kind of work, because he adapted his design to what can be done there. Because you cannot make, for instance, a square chair, because it's impossible. The tension of the threads is so strong that every square will be
distorted. It
distorted.
Distorts, so
yes.
You have to kind of
so you can distort the curve because it's beautiful, but if you distort the square, it's not so beautiful. You cannot control it. Yep. So again. These so many, these are the Tord pictures of mine, And you see here how beautiful is this distortion. Up, okay, we are controlling. The other man is my husband. And here are the materials, so the colors that we selected to be together.
So what is this? Is it a natural yarn? Oh, it's
no, it's polypropylene. Polyethylene, sorry.
Yeah,
so it's recyclable.
And is this the fishing nets?
It's the fishing nets. You know, it's strange for me that in Italy all the fishing nets are white. Sometimes are blue, but never pink. And in Africa, these are strange colors for them. These are not the common colors. The common colors are orange, yellow, red, blue, green, and so I never. This is the sketch of thought for the weaving. So you see, we give an example, we give an idea. Then, of course, they are free to change a little bit. And the colors, I suppose, is for that. Because when you go in this beautiful, huge beach out of Dakar, but out of Africa, everywhere in Africa, there are hundreds of fishermen, people, fishermen, yes, and hundreds of boats, beautiful boats, all painted with a lot of flowers, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has one or more nets, and how you can recognize yours if you are so many. So on the beach there are so many colors, but everyone knows what is his color.
Yeah, kind of signatures, personal signatures.
Yes, I think for that, because every time in the beach I saw all the reds, all the blue, all the... So I suppose that is for that reason. I don't know. And these are the other colors. So it's a normal factory, you know, with all the materials that they need under the sun. So again, yes. And here we're starting some months later with a new designer. These are projects done by Bibi Sek and Ice Wirsel. And Bibi is a Senegalese. He's living in New York, but was born and he was living in Dakar for half of his life, and then now he's working in New York. So he was very happy to come back in Senegal, stay a lot of time to follow his projects. And so he's that big man. And so he had done also for him the same story. He did the sketches just there, then he worked with the frame, metal frame man, and then the final moment was the weaving. So it's not easy also to do that. It's really complex.
This is a lot more complex as a shape.
Yes, very complex. It takes 10 days to be done. This. And up. They are trying the dimension. It's huge enough, yes.
So do the shapes and forms of the furniture, do they have any relationship to any traditional African design? I mean, there isn't a huge history of furniture in West Africa, particularly. And Bibi, coming from Senegal, was he referring to the shapes of, obviously the techniques are locally specific?
The techniques, of course, are local, and but his reference is about things that he had done years before when he was young and was living there, and all the objects that, as you can see, were very, how to say, happy objects. Some of them were rocking, some of them were funny like that, where the pattern is the most important thing. So also this, if we can see in the end, you see the pattern is, wow, it's very colorful, has a lot of different lines and different colors. And the reference is the fabric.
Oh,
the
I see.
fabric that they have done for centuries with the little looms, and all the graphics, all the things that are in the objects, in the weaving, are coming from that tradition. And you know, there is not a big tradition in Senegal about houses and about tools. Also, nothing about masks or these typical African things. Their culture is very abstract. They are never making, because they are also they're Muslims.
Yes.
So they are never doing masks because it's not their
So
culture.
it's not a kind of figurative tradition.
No,
is it?
no. And they were nomads. So the house is maybe a tent or is a piece of fabric. And the tools are really very limited and very, very simple. Big pans, so where you cook. Pans, yes, very big, because the families are huge and so you have to cook a lot of food. Very simple furniture, but the sofa is the most important thing in a house. Now, like in the past, was cushions in a tent.
Right.
You know. And so they love these rich sofas because probably is a sort of copying the Arabs, you know, because Arabs went there like the owners of, you know, they have not done always fantastic things in Africa. But that they have no tradition in special objects for house. So all the furniture is a wooden furniture in the houses, a little bit coming from the French tradition sometimes, a lot from the 50s and 60s, because in that time there was a big evolution in Africa with the independence and with all that things. And they were very proud to be finally independent, and especially Senegal have had a beautiful past, and they passed from the colonial time to the independence in a very peaceful way.
Okay.
Because Senghor, that is a poet and a writer, was also the president that lead them to the new republic. So, yes. So this is the thing that was going to be finished, and you see also on the floor there is this typical plastic.
Sort of woven carpet.
Yes,
or mat.
woven carpets. Yes, that they use on the sand, but also in the house. Sorry. Okay, going on to see how they finish. But you see, it's a long thing because every single thread has to be used like one by one, like you see here. So it's a long thing and a beautiful result. And that was sitting on the object is the designer. Bibi, yes. Okay. Okay, this is another typical thing. It's a funny little story, if I can say. They crossed two things to make this. Again, is a Bibi project. And you know, there is a very special vehicle in Africa, going everywhere in Africa, that are these sort of little buses, but they transform our, our big cars, the industrial vehicle that we have to transport the goods that are big but close. And when they are old in Europe, someone brings them to Africa. And they have fantastic people that cutting the windows, putting furniture inside.
So they're
they
kind
are
of
making
customized old
yes,
trucks.
they are making from trucks, but little trucks. They're making little bus, and they call these buses car. Is one word that nobody thinks what is meaning. Is carapit. But
Say again.
Carapit.
Carapit.
Yes, but is car in English, a rapide in French. That means quick car. And Carapid is the bus that everyone is taking when you go on the street and you do that. And immediately someone is stopping to bring you up. It's something in between a private car, a taxi, and a bus. And to do that things, of course, to show that this is a special vehicle, they paint. And the plane is yellow. And then they have a lot of pattern, eyes and flowers and writings, a lot of writings.
Okay.
So they have done a little chair using a painter that is usually doing that vehicle, and the shape is a little bit like the wooden chairs that are coming very often from Africa, crossing two parts of wood,
yes,
like that, and you have a very comfortable low chair, and so they have done this. Rapid is the name, and also they write, because the writing is important in Africa. Everywhere you see a writing that is a title, is a sort of, I don't know, benediction, like hey, God bless you or something like that, and a lot of other, or everywhere is right, on the cars, on the trucks, everywhere, on the houses. These are like, they paint the houses outdoor. So we try, what we try to do is to put the popular culture of that country in these objects, and to have objects with a soul, with a really a good spirit and real spirit of the country where they were born and they are coming from, carrying to us a little bit of beauty and energy from there, from Africa. That is very important. A sketch on the wall. Okay, and that is then we didn't do that, it was not enough stable. But was beautiful, the frame. Okay, this is another little stool, and you see how they work. It's very complex to do simple objects, but
it really is completely by hand and with very little in the way of other tools. And
yes.
literally is threaded through by hand.
Yes. Yes. Stopping with bamboo sticks, but making everything by hand. Also that. They have no tools like a loom. It's everything really turned by hand. This is the project of Patrizia Moroso, so I tried to involve also her in the first presentation, and she was trying to make a shape that was in the memory of the drums.
Wooden drums.
Yes, yeah. Wooden drums. So enlarging them, destroying
like
them.
kind of tree trunk type.
Yes. The shape is exactly what they call, I don't remember, but it's the drum that you put under here, and they have two sides. Okay. And see, also this is really fantastic, the way they intend for instance, Patrizia lived totally freedom to do the pattern that they wanted. Okay. Because she had no time, and she said, okay, do what you prefer. And they have done a beautiful. and this is Dominique Petot, is the last one that we had his things this year. His family is from France, but he was born in Africa and is living in Dakar, so he considers himself an African. And so, because he has a lot of course, of contacts, of links with all the craft people around the city, is a perfect relation for me that I can ask him where to go for that special thing, he knows. He's an interior designer, and usually is working, making the houses of people. And this is, these are his objects, and he was working a lot on the graphisms, very simple graphism that is also typical of the old printed fabrics in Africa. So we are white, black and red on the white cottons, for instance. And also this for me is in the same mood, but every different object has a different apport to the collection. And that, for instance, is a beautiful picture that he have done to show me the first prototype, just down because there is a place here or something where they do the job. It's a little bit metaphysic. No? It's like an Italian paint of the 20s. Okay, and that is part of, and this is the last one that is coming now by both. So, okay. Another thing is that these guys that are working on making, they're really very happy to do what they are doing. And that for me is one of the fundamental things. Because anyway, they were doing the things that we have seen before in the beginning, But that was, okay, good, but not so incredible. And they are so proud to do the things now that are always showing to the families, or they are calling friends, hey, look what we are doing, this is fantastic. So this is also the beauty of design, that you can help people that are normally doing crafts, beautiful, but without something that could be a project, that is something a little bit bigger than a tool for your life that day. It's something with a long project. And putting the two things together, so involving the craftsman in a design project, I think is beautiful for many things. First, for the beauty of the object that comes in the end, but also because design can change your life. And these people now, they are proud because they are conscious to make something important, really important, that is going on all over the world. And sometimes we send, the New York Times with the pictures, or the famous French magazines, because they of course are connected a lot with France, and they are so happy to see where their job is going.
What really strikes me with this whole project is the mutual respect from both sides here,
yes.
And the respect which you and the designers that you've worked with have shown for the skills and talent of the craftspeople who are making it, but also the respect back from the craftspeople and enjoyment in the project. And it really is very different than many ways that we may approach Africa as a continent, which, because of the huge differences in history and economy and society between Europe and Africa, can be very one-sided and can be very misunderstanding, very incorrect, really, I suppose, and lacking in respect. So it's always struck me, and with the presentation of the project in Milan, with the accompanying exhibition of photographs and art, that really showed your depth of understanding. It wasn't just another site to go and plunder some kind of nice decorative motifs. It's a much deeper understanding of an appreciation of Africa.
Yes. The deep reason, and to end with the things, I think is this last. Yes, the deep reason why we have done that kind of presentation is because that was, for me, not only some new nice objects to show to the market. Absolutely not. It's not that. But was to show with the collection of the objects, the ability and the fantastic talent of these people to do things that we in Europe, of course, forgot to do. Because in the past, in Italy, and also in my city, was a special talent, doing, for instance, all the tonnet for Vienna was produced in my city in the past. So weaving is something that we knew, but nobody now. So showing how they are fantastic to do that first, but only to show, especially to the Italian public that came to see the exhibition, how fantastic can be the African art. This, for instance, is Mandemori. He's a photographer. He's based in Dakar, but he's working with New York Times or magazines all around the world. He has that age that was young in the 70s, and he was a photo reporter. And so he was traveling all around Africa with his motorbike to make the report of wars, of many things. He's a fantastic man, and we used his huge enlargements of his picture to show some of the African moments. And for instance, this was the reason why I asked him to be with us, because incredible, but this is one of his old pictures, but show exactly the colored nets that are usually done with our material. And how beautiful is this? You see the beauty of the color, but you see also the joy of the kid that is jumping on the nets. And these are girls dancing in a ritual situation. It's a sort, you know that in Senegal the religion is a sort of Islam, but is a very mystic Islam. Is connected with the Sufi of Turkey, and they have a lot of rituals where they dance, still to lose the
to go into a trance.
Yes, to go in trance. The trance is an important moment of all the hidden rituals, because you cannot see that things, but sometimes I can. This is the beach that I was talking before with hundreds of people.
Yes, we should
and
just maybe explain that for those who don't know, that Senegal is in the farthest west part of West Africa, and so therefore was the closest part of Africa to North America and to the West Indies, and therefore was the last port of embarkation for the last slaves to leave Africa to go to the New World.
There is an island just in front of Dakar that is belonging to the United Nations as a very important place not to forget, never. And this really terrible. If you go there and see where they embark the goods were the people, and terrible. Anyway, we have to go there sometimes. We Europeans. Anyway, this is a fantastic place, and he showed the color and the way in which the people is staying on the beach. Another group of girls dancing. The blue of the sky is really this, and that is really fantastic, and shows also why from Africa came that colors. Another funny thing is that when in the beginning we was thinking how to do things in Africa, which color, and these people, the first craftsmen that I was in contact with, they said, but black and brown, you know, yellow and red and blue, but fantastic, because usually the French people that came to make a collection, an African collection with us, they are always asking for brown and black, because that is Africa for them. Yes, for them, but not for you. And of course, he said, no, for me it's yellow, red, blue, and all the colors. So our things are colored like the color is used in Africa, with a lot of freedom and a lot of colors in one unique dress or unique. So the brown and beige is really a concept of the colonialism time, but not of Africans. Yeah. And this is the old train station there. Okay, yeah, I think that's. For instance, this was one of the two artists that I call. This is Solicissé.
So this is from the exhibition in Milan.
Yes, it's from the exhibition in Milan, and this is one of the works that he presented.
Sorry, can you tell us again the name of the artist?
Oh, sorry. Soli, where is Soli? Solicissé, yeah, and he's probably the most important young artist in Africa. He is around 40 or less, but he's very, very famous and fantastic. You see, all these animals are done putting together many little animals that are here, and together the little animals create the body of the big animals.
It's a drawing.
It's a drawing. It's a black and white chalk. No, black chalk on white paper. Here was installing, because this was a site specific done just in our showroom, he was installing this artwork that, you know, with the tape, the normal tape that we buy in Milano with Fragile, right down. And he was very happy of the Fragile, because in the beginning he didn't know, he was looking for a colored tape. When he said, we have only Fragile, Fragile, fantastic, it will be my work. And you know, his work was to this mess is a sort of Dakar plan, is the plan of Dakar, all the streets, all the city of Dakar. And the work was wanted to show in little videos that were inside the sculpture, in these boxes. There are some videos that you can see. And the video was a little animation that he had done about what a slave in the past was looking, going away. So the house of the slaves that was going and becoming small, and the ocean became big. The last piece of Africa that they have ever seen. And was really very emotional. And you see here a little bit that the house and the ocean. And with his hand is doing the plan of Dakar. And the work was beautiful. Okay, he's working. In the end, the things together were fantastic. So photography, art, and also another. Let me have a look. This is is coming from Egypt, and is another kind of work. But he also was installing his things in the shore, making them there with fabric, with color, with materials.
So this is an artist called
Fatih Hassan. And here he was painting a big mirror that we have in the showroom with the shape of a vase, a container. And he called the containers soul containers. And all the writings that I don't understand is Arab, but he was making the object with writings. Okay, so I give the space to these artists to show the strongness, the beauty, and the very important art they are doing. So, you know, till some years ago, all the artists coming from Africa, they were considered like a funny folk, no? Or something like that. Not respected like contemporary art. But this is contemporary art, and in all the... Oh. And yes, I wanted to show the last, because the last one, he is living in London, is a fantastic architect.
This is David Ajay.
Is David Ajay. And so we were very proud because we show this exhibition that is now in the Design Museum about urban cities, and the name of the exhibition, when we show part, of course, of it, was African Cities, because he started this work 10 years ago. Now he ended the work after 10 years that we went all around Africa to make this sort of documentation of Africa with pictures. And so the work is now finished, at least in the museum, and 1 year ago was not totally finished, but we also this exhibition is such interesting and important. And this was the entrance, And also that is a fantastic artwork, and the entrance of the space. So it was a sort of art gallery for 10 days with all the African things, also fabrics on their standard, you know, this is a piece of Ronara, but we use the African fabrics to make the cover. And this was how the space was in the end. So full of color and energy and a lot of language. Okay. And that was the party. And she's also collaborating with us. She is from Senegal, and she's doing fabrics in an industrial way with looms, mechanical looms. It's doing beautiful fabrics. And this is the group of us. Not all, but almost a part of us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you for that fantastic, eloquent description. I'd like to open up the floor to any questions. Justin has a mic, I guess.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Before I hand over, I actually have just one comment on those pieces, because as a design critic, or design critics generally, I think we've become quite practiced at separating our appreciation of an object from our desire of it. Because, you know, we write about these beautiful things, but we can never afford them. You know, and sometimes you never really understand why they cost so much. Do you know what I mean? You look at something and just think, it's amazing, I want it, it's £4,000 or £5,000, why? And when you see those pictures of those people weaving, and you think, well, 2 people, 3 days,
yes.
You know, in London, minimum £150 a day per person for even the barest of skilled jobs, it's like £1,000 before you even talk about shipping and all this kind of thing. So, in a way, it's, I look at those objects and I really appreciate the value of them, and I think they're incredibly beautiful. But perhaps some people have more technical or other critical questions. Here you go.
I'm just interested in the social sustainability of the project. Is it a one-off, Afrique, or do these people, are the craftspeople earning an income? Are these in production now?
No, it's a long project, long life project. Mafrik came out from Steven Barks, that was another designer. The name belongs to him, I have to say. He have done a fantastic name, gives the name. And Mafrik, more and more, is keeping the energy to be a brand. Also, with or without Moroso, to say. Sometimes, if possible, with us. But I've seen that making now the distribution of the collection, not always the same place where we are is a good place for them. I saw now, for instance, in New York, where we are in Soho, the design district, okay. But Mafrik we presented this year, we have the official opening for that collection, in a super big shop that used to be a shop for carpets, but is selling also a lot of fantastic ethnic objects from all over the world. The name is ABC. And is a perfect place for that collection, where everyone understands immediately what it is. The level is high, but the products that you can find there are not the same that you can find in the design district. And so I think that we will distribute this sometimes in the same place, sometimes in a different, because it needs to be, how to say, to live in an ambient around.
It needs its context. It needs
a context.
Its own particular context.
Yes, it needs a context to be appreciated. And so, but it's not one-off. It's not for 1 year collection. It's for the future. We have these 20 boys working there, and they have their job. They are very happy to do that. So every year we will add something. We are now researching for different also techniques, not only weaving, but maybe wood, that they are fantastic to work with, or also the girls. Why not involve the girls? And so we are starting with some project with beads, for instance. the project can be, you know, done in Stockholm, for instance. We have now a project done by the front, so from Stockholm, but probably we will produce in Africa, because our beads, the scale of the beads are not the little glass beads, but are the big beads in wood. But they have the technique, they know how to weave the beads to make a fabric, not like a fabric, a texture. So that's, or to develop other things that you can find there. Also using raffia or straw is also interesting. We were just today talking with Todd about that, for instance. So there is a future, of course, and for all the year we are thinking what to do the next. In the next.
Brilliant, thank you.
Questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you both very much for that very lucid and enlightening talk. For anyone interested in the rest of the series, tomorrow we have the academic Abdou Malik Simone talking about Kinshasa, and Rem Koolhaas's, one of Rem Koolhaas's partners, Kunya Adiemi, talking about Lagos, and then they're going to discuss generally the nature of the contemporary African city. And I think it's very appropriate that you ended on that stuff about David Adjaye's show, because we can maybe discuss that idea, push it a little bit further than that show does, and have a discussion about it. And similarly, I mean, there's a copy of the African issue of Icon on your chairs, and do take it away and enjoy it. And if anyone is inspired to subscribe based on that, there's a subscription over there. There's a special offer tonight of £25. And also, if you'd like to hang around and have a drink, there's a live band starting in about 15 minutes. And yeah, thank you very much for coming, and thank you to Patrizia and to Gareth.